Just the two of us and we can stay up all night, kissing under streetlights, doing what we want to, doing what we need to do, staying up all night, everything is alright. Oh, I wanna be with you, oh, I wanna be with you. Let me be that someone who can hold your hand. I don't even know if you can understand how you make me feel. I got you in my head. Oh, I wanna be with you, oh, I wanna be with you. Let me be that someone who can hold your hand. I don't even know if you can understand how you make me feel. I got you in my head. Oh, I wanna be with you, oh, I wanna be with you. All that time away from you, I didn't think I'd make it without you by my side. Let me feel your love again. Just the two of us and we could stay up all night, kissing under streetlights, doing what we want to, doing what we need to do, staying up all night, everything is alright. Oh, I wanna be with you, oh, I wanna be with you. Let me be that someone who can hold your hand. I don't even know if you can understand.
Welcome back to another Habs Barbecue Show with hockey coach, your coach Frenchy directly for the Before Country of Talent. And we have to have two co-hosts tonight back in the house directly for Hawkesbury and Ontario, Mr. Marko Larabi, and directly from Caveman, someone down Toronto, Mr. Enortp. He scored a goal.
Holy shit, coach. I don't know if we're going to be able to match that energy. That's like really high.
Here we go.
Set the bar high.
I wake up everybody in Thailand. That's what I'm doing right now.
Damn.
Welcome back, both of you. Thanks to be joining another Habs Barbecue Show. This is a show about the Montreal Canadiens, your Montreal Canadiens. We'll go for the next 60, 90 minutes. Sometimes we go 2 hours, depends. We talk about the Montreal Canadiens. Have a couple of news happening for the last couple of days. Marko is going to give us some review about what's going with the big, huge trade between Montreal and the Pittsburgh Penguins. The situation with the goaltenders with the Montreal Canadiens. And more about news around the Montreal Canadiens. What's the next move from Ken Hughes for the next couple of days, maybe weeks, and fun. And then tonight, guys, we're going to talk about your favorite Montreal Canadiens players. We're going to overview a little bit, the old players play with the Montreal, what you remember the most, and we're sharing a couple of news about that. So that's what we got. A couple of news around the NHL, going to a little bit talking about this. And then that's what we got tonight, guys, for this great Habs Barbecue Show. Thanks to both of you to join me live on another live streaming. We had a few people knock the door, so we're going to open the door to welcome everybody. And then we're going to move on with all the subject. Tonight, we're going to talk about, we have a question for the pool of the YouTube channel. We have a game. We are back at the game, Tic-Tac-Toe game, live. We're going to be interesting. See both of them, Marko and Enortp, are going to play a game 1 versus 1, and then finally at the Frenchy Quiz. Tonight we have 3 questions. We know Enortp take the lead yesterday. Another score, and now he lead by 9 versus 7 or 6 by Mr. Andy Koivula. And that's what we got, guys, tonight. Excited. We have a few moderators knock the door, guys. We have Luciano Graziano and Jose Duarte. Thanks to be with us to be the watching what's going on in the chat, but we'll be fine anyway. Sebastian is back in the house. Vinny 007 is in the house. Where RDP for Newfoundland knocked the door. The road runner Gary Cournoyer, the driver of UPS, is in the house. Welcome back, all of you guys. We appreciate for your commitment to be here with us every single night. We are really grateful and thankful about this. What about Mr. RJ Calabro, New Jersey? Ready for the high school game Friday night, somewhere, somehow. Thanks. Luc Laforson back in the house. Luc Laforson is back in the house. His favorite player is Jacques Lefley with Don't Worry, Are We? And maybe Greg Ludwig. We'll see, look what he got on that one over there. Don't forget to click on the like. That'd be great. Russell Smith is in the house. So thanks so much to be with us. Claude Richard back in the house. I think Claude was not there yesterday. Thanks to be with us, Mr. Claude, directly. Your ex-neighbor, Mr. Marko, directly from Ottawa, is in the house. Sebastian back again, like I mentioned to you. Our friend Randy Walkman is in the house, directly from Alberta, rider of the Calgary Flame and a big fan of the Toronto Maple Leaf. We have a big news about Toronto Maple Leaf. We're going to talk about what's happening with them for that one. And that's what we got so far. Hopefully, I have more people going to knock the door. We'll open the door for everybody. And that's all. Anything you want to add a little bit more, Marco? What happening for the last 7 days? And we saw you last time. It was 8 days because last week you came Tuesday night.
That's right. Yeah, no, just busy, with the move over, now back to work, back to reality. So just lots of work, catching up with all that stuff. I saw that it's Jose's birthday, so happy birthday, Jose.
I think it was tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I just saw something go by that it's his birthday coming up. I won't be on tomorrow, so I'll take this opportunity to wish him a happy birthday. Hope you're feeling well. But everything is good, Coach. Still jonesing for that hockey. So I'm excited to join you guys and talk about what's been going on for the last week. The Hlinka Gretzky tournament is over. That was pretty interesting to watch. But now, it's nice to watch female World Cup of soccer at 5 a.m, but I still miss my hockey. So looking forward to have that back.
Here we go. What about you, Mr. Enortp? Last time we saw you, it was, Sunday night? Monday night?
Monday night, maybe. No, everything is pretty much status quo, Coach. Of course, we're just waiting on some interesting moves that still have to come down the pipe. We saw today the signing of Jones by the Leafs. Interesting move, or not. Insurance, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But we're going to get on to a nice conversation, I think, about this three-way trade. See where
awesome. That's great to hear that, Mr. Enortp. Need some vacation for sure. You go to study more about hockey for the next couple of days. Here we go. RJ Calabro said Friday, Mr. Enortp, the game at 2 o'clock, the high school football game, Woodridge and Walkie Valley. I believe Woodridge coach Wolf. I think it's called Coach Wolf. RJ, you have to tell me if it's Coach Wolf, a legend of the high school in the New Jersey area. I believe he coached that team, but I cannot be guaranteed about that one over there. My ex-mentor, Todd Durkin, was a quarterback over there. And anyway, so short story about this. Every time I see that. Anyhow, GSM is in the house. Welcome back, GSM. Thanks to be with us. We're going to see what we talk tonight, guys. First of all, we're going to talk about the favorite players. On that picture, you see Jean Béliveau, Gary Price, Saku Koivu, Matt Nasloon, and the Flower, Guy Lafleur. So we're going to get that conversation a bit later in the next 20 minutes. And then, of course, don't forget my AB prospect, more opportunities. We're going to have that kind of conversation, of course, next. If you follow, guys, Frenchy and Thailand, my journey, you can watch this one. I got scammed by this one. Anyway, that's another subject for another time. When we have a time, late at night. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, about this. Here we go, guys. Also, we'll get, before we go on that direction, guys, we want to share it with you. A couple of news about the Montreal Canadiens. If I could get it, that would be great. Do I have this one over there? Here we go. Jump into it right, Mr. Marko and Mr. Enortp. We know First of all, Marco, give us a little bit what you think about the trade for Montreal and Pittsburgh, and then what would be the next destination? I put three teams: Dallas, Edmonton, Detroit. Could be other team you're looking for, but the rumor look like is really about Dallas Star.
Agree. Well, Coach, first of all, I'm just a little disappointed because I thought we all agreed that we would have a spontaneous party when Mike Hoffman got traded. So I tried to text you. I was ready. I had my little party hat on. I was ready to go. But man, I was. Everybody on this channel knows how I feel about number 68. So listen, like we're not going to dump on him. Yeah, I'm very disappointed for sure. I hope that his face is all healed up and ready for his new life in San Jose. But yeah, this is, I think everybody would agree that this is an absolute masterclass by Kent Hughes. Everybody right now, the new buzz word for Kent Hughes is he's cooking. Kent Hughes is cooking up something. And, this is definitely kind of a really, really good move. It's pretty rare that the third team involved in a trade to facilitate the trade actually ends up winning the trade. But listening to a lot of third party, kind of experts in the media talk, and I think everybody's pretty unanimous in thinking that Montreal hands down won this trade. Like when, ultimately, usually the rule of thumb is whoever gets the best player is the one that won the trade. So there's no question that Pittsburgh, they got the best player, they got who they wanted. But man, is that ever a risky proposition, right? Like San Jose only held, I think, like 13 or 15% of Erik Karlsson's salary, and he's got 4 years left, so they have him at $10 million. He now becomes Pittsburgh's highest paid player, even above Crosby, Malkin, and Letang. So, it is what it is. We won't delve too much into the Penguins. Will this make them reemerge as a playoff team? Maybe. But certainly for me, unless Kyle Dubas can really kind of, I like some of the moves that he made, like, Riley and, Pitlick is a nice bottom 6 or bottom 9 forward for them. So, but they're going to need to come up with a lot more depth if they're going to really compete for a playoff spot. In terms of Montreal, this is, like I said, a masterclass by Kent Hughes. It does a lot of different things. First and foremost for me, this is something we've been talking about last summer. It opens up valuable space on the roster for somebody like Raphael Harvey-Pinard or even Slavkovsky potentially, to really, really kind of have a little bit more ice time. So to me, that's really, really good news. The second round draft pick, like 2025 is going to be a very strong draft year. Some people are saying it might overall be even stronger than last year's draft class. So that's really good. And then, of course, Jeff Petrie. So, it's a little bit strange that Jeff Petrie wouldn't have put Montreal on his no trade list. I guess it was one of those things where he just never would have imagined that Montreal would have traded for him again. But, I guess you can never be too safe to do that. So, we know that Jeff Petrie and his family, his wife in particular, wanted to leave Montreal probably more than anything because of the pandemic and because of the very tight restrictions that were around in Canada during COVID. So that's pretty much over, So I think if they had to come here, from what I've read, they are open to coming here and playing, but the likelihood of that happening is pretty low. I think we can all kind of read the tea leaves a little bit. The fact that Kent Hughes has not had a press conference to introduce Jeff Petrie or DeSmith, or even talk to their agents, is obviously pretty telling, right? So, to me, I've heard a lot of people. I think even Coach, you mentioned this yesterday, that the big strategy or the big move that Montreal could make would be to retain 50% of Jeff Petrie's salary and flip him either before the season starts or during the season. I would be surprised if Kent Hughes would be willing to, because he's still got 2 years left. And if there's one thing that we've learned about Kent Hughes so far, he does not like to retain salary at all. It's probably his least favorite thing other than Mike Hoffman. So could it happen? I think the return would have to be, Yeah, we have that in common. Me and Kent, we had a couple of discussions about that. So, Coach, I think your proposal was, you could get Jeff, if you could get a second round pick for Jeff Petrie, holding 50% of his salary for the next 2 years. Listen, like I think the deal would have to be sweeter than that in order for Kent Hughes to retain 50% of the salary. Um, it's not like Eric Carlson, where it's 4 years. That's a lot of time to carry dead money on your cap. But 2 years, like now, would I do it if the return was good? Yes. But I knowing what you see from Kent Hughes so far, it seems to be something that he's not really open to doing that much, unless it's a player that's going to be expiring at the end of the year. But I could be wrong. But either way, I think the teams that you have here you're right. Dallas is probably the one that's been interested in him the longest. They've had their eye on him for a while. Like, and they've taken a couple of hits on the right side of their defenseman. They lost Klingberg, never really replaced him as a right shot defenseman, to be honest. They have a very strong left-handed side of their defense. Detroit has always been interested, certainly at the reduced cost. I don't see Edmonton really being a fit, to be honest. But it's not impossible. But yeah, I think particularly Dallas and Detroit, I think would be kind of the front runners. But we'll have to see. But either way, it's a great trade piece. What would you say, Coach, the percentage chances that Jeff Petrie is actually in Montreal at training camp? 20%? 25%?
I would go max 25% right now.
Yeah.
Just because the behaviors of what's going on with Ken Hughes. So you know what I mean, like it's rare you make a trade at this impact and you don't get anything in return, like no news, nothing, no social media, welcome back and all the kind of stuff like that. And you know what I mean, like a video and all kind of, I don't know. I feel a little bit strange about this. So I think it's just like, come in and he come out right away. Only thing I would say to you, the reason it came on my head all the time because you're right when you said Ken Hughes does not like to retain money on the trade. He does this example at the trade deadline at the end of the year, it's over and then he move on, right?
Yeah.
I really think about this a lot, but I think Enortp we agree with me. They have so many teams with salary cap problem, Marco, where which team can add a $4.6 million or $4.8 million on the salary cap for 2 years without retaining any money? That's my only problem that's my only, not concern, but my only thing I will put me a little bit more to holding that situation if they want to get something in return.
That's not a lot for a top four defenseman, though, right? Like somebody that's going to play in your top four, like that's still really, really good value. And like Montreal could take back, a contract from a team.
Contract.
Yeah, maybe they take back a contract that expires at the end of the year, so that team has a little bit of flexibility this year if they plan on going all in. But I could be wrong. Like again, if the offer is good enough, maybe he would change his mind. I've said it before. Like I wish that he was a bit more aggressive. Like for a player like Gallagher, if he could be a little bit more aggressive. I've always said that at this point we have almost too many assets. Like we don't have elite pieces, but we have a lot of good assets. We've picked, like, think about how many picks we've had over the last 3 drafts, and we didn't really trade any away, right? And you can only have 50 contracts. So I've always been a supporter of Montreal liquidating some of those assets to free up some space. It doesn't need to be this year, though, because we're not really going to be competitive. But at some point, you're going to need to do that. I guess one thing I didn't talk about this Smith.
It'll be the next subject after that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So just on this trade here, like, again, like you couldn't ask for a better outcome, to be honest. Like if anybody would have tried to predict that Kent Hughes would have gotten this kind of return, and then when you zoom back and look at the whole thing, basically, so we ended up getting Mike Matheson, Jeff Petrie, and a second round pick and Le Garret for Mike Hoffman and Rem Pitlick. That's pretty good.
I agree with you about this. Man, I don't know where you, you can add something. So you're not talking about
Nothing
that
to
one there.
add. No,
Well, you talked about
I
you were on the air when this came, like the night of, right? Like,
yeah, and pretty
I've been
much. I
holding.
mean, you echoed a lot of the things that I thought as well. I think it's pretty obvious that for Montreal it was about clearing some some cap space, but even though their cap went up a little bit because of the overall trading, but it was minimal. And like I said, once they trade either to Smith or Petrie or both, they're going to have that space available. But it was mostly to get some room in there for the forwards, to get some of the youth in there. And that's what we've been screaming all along. You got to give these players an opportunity at different spots and see where they sort of fit in terms of looking towards the future. They probably are aware, although they won't say it, that they're not going to make the playoffs this year. So, these are the years where you have to experiment with what you have. And they have, as you mentioned, Marco, they have accumulated a ton of prospects over the last 2 to 3 years and not given any away yet. And so it bodes well for their future. I like what I'm seeing. I think that Hughes did the right thing in this case. Personally, I don't understand San Jose in all of this.
No.
Yes, they got rid of the big contract of Carlson, but somehow they ended up raising their cap in the exchange that they got. Okay, I granted that at the end of the year they're going to lose both Hoffman off their list or they might even flip him at some point if some team wants him, but you're not going to get much for him. But I don't get it. Like maybe it's just to try to solidify that they'll finish, if not last, second or third last, and they're going to get another good player. That's about it. In terms of Pittsburgh, well, we know that Dubas always likes to have his favorite four. Well, now he's got four on the team. So we'll see. But yet another 30-plus player for a team that's probably the oldest team in the league, a team that with those players haven't able to stay healthy with the exception of last year. And I mean Carlson, Crosby, and Malkin. If you look at their last 5 or 6 years, they didn't play over 50 games. And bound the back and definitely sparked the team on. But in the process, they got rid of the Smith. And who's their backup? Nedeljkovic? I mean, the books don't look too good for that. So, a lot of things, I personally think a lot of things have to go right for Pittsburgh just to make the playoffs. Because there's just too many good teams that have improved in the East. And so they didn't make it last year. So you have to sit back and ask yourself, well, whose position are they going to usurp? Now you might say the Islanders, but then maybe somebody sneaks in there like Buffalo or Ottawa or, and you just don't know. And I don't see a pathway for them to get into the playoffs. I really don't.
No. And 2 little quick things, Coach. One team I would add to this list here would be Anaheim. They seem to be wanting to do stuff, right? Like they look like they're serious and trying to build something here, maybe a little bit more competitive. They could use a little bit of help on the right side. And we've talked about Columbus a lot. Columbus seems to be in the mix for wanting to do stuff as well. So I know they have Boqvist as a right-hand defenseman, but overall, like their right-hand side is not as strong as their left-hand side on defense, so that could potentially be a fit. And last thing on Pittsburgh, like just for the record, Pittsburgh is now the oldest ever team in the cap era, ever, right? Like it's crazy. Like so yeah, you're right, 100% right there in the top. Like Kyle Dubas. Remember when we were talking about where he could potentially go, I thought it was a terrible decision for him to go to Pittsburgh. You know, as long as if he knows that he's going to be there for 10 years and is going to have a chance to rebuild it after this last phase is over here, their last run. But the second team that I would not want to be part of, or if I was offered a GM job, would be San Jose. That is a deep, deep hole that team is in. Like Logan Couture's contract, that is also very, very ugly looking. He's a really, really amazing playoff performer. But man, is that ever a really hard contract. He's got 4 years. I think it leads him up to being 38 years old. And he's like at 9 million, Couture. Yikes. That is a tough roster to manage. So, yikes.
Oh, I'm holding my breath because I have so many things to talk about what you just said, both of you, about that. First of all, Pittsburgh missed the playoff by 1 point with only half of the season with Jarry as a goaltender. If Jarry played 50 more games, Pittsburgh is 5-6 points in the playoff. We don't talk about that way over there. Secondly,
and a healthy
I will say to you about the Pittsburgh Penguins. Expect with the owner with the most money in NHL, he's going to change that team very quickly by signing some UF3. One Malkin and Crosby is going to leave the building with Letang. So I think that we turn around that way. They're not going to build that team with prospect, everything like that. They're going to build that team with money with the UF3. I would not be surprised. That would be the turnover about the Pittsburgh. So I don't see a very downside about that franchise for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Yes, they have a couple of bad contracts. He picked up a really bad management with Burke and Extall. They really hurt the Pittsburgh Penguins the way they made the trade for the last couple of years. But they turn around really quickly. They got Carlson. Carlson is going to change completely. He's going to helping that team better what your people expect about Carlson. I don't think so. We saw him for the last 18 months, how he is maybe one of the top best 10 players in NHL right now. The way he played last season was amazing.
Offensively, yeah. Offensively, right? For sure.
So that we're helping them about that. I don't say they're going to win the Stanley Cup, but I think they are underrated for what the people give about Carlson. San Jose, my point for San Jose, we said, I think Enortp and Marko said, what he did that. But first of all, like you said, Marko, they clean up. He tried to clean up exactly what Montreal is doing, clean up the salary cap, right? They have really bad contract by Doug Wilson. He did. They have to send Timo Meier. At some point, they send Joe Pavelski, and I can go all the way back a couple of things. Now they open up more money for that franchise. Thirdly, they got secondly, they got a first-round pick. Thirdly, they pick up old, right?
No, they did get a first, but it was the top 10 protected, which I don't understand. Like, if what you're after is that pick, then you better make sure that it's not protected.
Yeah, but you're going to get a first-round pick in return, right?
And let's think of it this way. If Pittsburgh does what you anticipate and they go far in the playoffs, what's that first-round pick? Anything between 20 and 25?
The reason he did that because he didn't retain money on Carlson. That's the reason he did that. That's what the reason he gave the protected draft pick in return, because you don't have to hold the money on Carlson. That was the biggest thing about him to salary cap. Fourthly, I would say to you, he want to finish at the bottom of the NHL. He want to finish at the top because with celebrity and he would need some. He rebuild that's the way he does exactly what Chicago did last season. They tried to rebuild that franchise over there. I agree with you. It's not pretty in San Jose. And they will have at least 3 more years to fed up the salary cap on that one for sure for that. But think about this when the time you was talking, guys, and Mike, Marko does a lot of a joke about Mike Hoffman, everything like that. But guy, back all together one night in January and February, before the trade deadline, we was complaining about Mike Hoffman, Dadonov, Jonathan Drouin. They all three are gone. All three are gone. So he really opened up where can you take time and he does this really properly at the right way. He take time. He wait for the right opportunity to open up, and then he did it. He opened up. He knew that. And last season,
but Coach,
he said that, or Enortp said, the problem is because with those three players, you have no room for Slavkovsky or any other players come to the rookie to join the Montreal Canadiens, and the TOI was suffering because of that situation. And now,
so this is what I would say to that. Okay.
So again?
But this is what I would say to that, though, is here's an interesting question. If you're Kent Hughes, would you have paid a second or a third round pick, or even like Harris or something like that, to get rid of Hoffman last year, so that you'd have had more time on ice for Slavkovsky or Ulonen or Heineman after he was injured, right? Like, yes, we all love this deal. It was a good deal. He got he didn't have to retain any salary or anything, but to me, he would have been a real wizard if he could have done it last year, because then we would have one other year of one of those young players having more NHL experience.
I would say no, because it was his first year of rebuilding. He had no rush to do this, everything like that. It was just consistent what he tried to do one time. Last season, he opened up the money for Weber for the very long term. And I think that's the reason he did that. It is very difficult to trade it for a 2 years contract, like Mike Hoffman for 2 years. A 1 year contract is more easier to do that. I will not lose my asset for only to give something for a spot where maybe the player was not ready for the Montreal Canadiens. That would be my I would say that I would not do it. My answer would be I would not do it.
So Enortp, so the question would 1 extra year of having Hoffman out and that extra wiggle room for either Slavkovsky, Harvey Pinard, Ulonen, Heineman, would that be worth giving up an asset if you're Kent Hughes, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, you make a good case for that, Marco. I think more than anything, that was mandated by the fact last year that there were so many injuries and they were able to get some of the other players in. But you're probably right. If everybody had remained healthy, or a good portion of them, then I could have seen that possibly happening a little bit earlier. And you're right. Like, it's definitely something you have to gamble with, because you absolutely knew that Hoffman was not a part of this future. So at some point you have to shed yourself of that contract and that type of mentality that didn't really fit in with Montreal.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think he's doing the right things. I think that the next three is going to be like between Amria and DUARTE, two of them. Of course, we talk about Petrie and other things, but I think they are right now. He's going to go the same way about that. That's the reason you said earlier, Marco. And I try to think in myself. I'm trying to think the same way. Like, he does not like to retain any money on any contract. So. But again, like, if you look, the only team he could get him is Chicago, example, right? Or a team like Anaheim, they have a lot of money over there. But for what we heard, and I don't know I'm right, or I'm not right, I did not do a lot of deep search. We don't know his close 15 team, right? He have a close of 15 team. It looked like he does not want to play in the West Coast, for what we heard. But I don't know.
He said no to a trade. He said no to a trade to San Jose, I think, a couple weeks ago. So if he has Anaheim on his trade list, that could be the case. One team that we didn't talk about either, Coach, is Seattle. Seattle might be they could probably use another right-hand shot as well. Like, it's not like Cale Fleury is going to come up and play top 6 minutes for that team. And after Larson, like, who's the right? Who do they have on the right side?
Justin Schultz.
They've got
Schultz.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I would say to you, I don't think so they would get it about that. But on the flip side, they would not, if they get at 2.3 maybe, but I don't think so. Is the team shuttle could add him maybe at the trade deadline more to anything else. I don't think so. Anaheim is part of this team. He doesn't want to get there. I really believe Dallas and Edmonton, or Dallas, Edmonton, Detroit, are the three destinations about that. If I'm Steve Eiserman, I really consider this if the Montreal keep the 50%.
Here's
The
an
thing
interesting
is,
question.
Detroit seems to be pretty much set with their defensemen at this point. I think the best bet is Dallas. If you even look, I think they only have two defensemen. So it would fit in. And we saw last year, you can't keep giving Heiskanen, especially in the playoffs, 30 plus minutes every single night. You're going to burn that guy out before his time is due. Edmonton would be a good destination as well, Coach, but it's the salary cap there, and they haven't signed Bouchard yet, and that's going to cost them $3 to $4 million at least.
Yeah, there would be
So
a
it's
little
gonna
bit
be
high
hard.
about the money for sure for the Dallas Stars have really an open spot over there as a right defenseman. They don't have a lot of right defensemen over there. There's really a thing. They have some kind of money they can do. The problem there, they have a Ryan or Sutter for the next 2 years, upcoming season, next following year at 3.8, and that's hurt them. At least they put him or buy him out. But look, we'll see what Jeff Ken Yu is going to do about that one for sure. A lot of people in the chat. Thanks again. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like if you don't mind. That'd be great. Nicholas knocked the door. Welcome back. The Chicago could be another destination, but again, Chicago have already Zeb Jones, got Murphy, just and missed one. Murphy, Zeb Jones, and someone else.
On right hand?
Yeah.
Here's
Detroit?
Here's a question. Here's a good question for you, Coach. If Petrie does play in Montreal, because I think you've been on the record saying that you would love Montreal to finish bottom 10 again next season. That would be your ideal, right? How impactful if Jeff Petrie plays most of the season in Montreal because Kent Hughes doesn't have the right deal for him, how does that impact Montreal in terms of the quality of team that they're going to be? Like, do you envision that they're going to be like, because think about it, like Jeff Petrie is a legitimate top four defenseman, right? Like you can say what you want about him. Like maybe his contract was a little rich.
No, he's a top pairing, second pairing.
Yeah, so he's a top four defenseman.
He'll help the team.
It's back a same question I was said to you earlier. You answer. What exactly were you thinking about Mike Hoffman? If you take Jeff Petrie, now you have Savard, Petrie, and Madison. Three veteran players are going to take some kind of TOI to any other defenseman, Barron, Kovacevic, Jekai, or Cooley, whatever it is. That's only flip side. That's the only bad side about that. Montreal it would be better with Jeff Petrie. I understand that. But if you want about development, I don't think so. It is the right things to do about this.
No, I'm not advocating. I'm not advocating that they should do it.
No, I understand. But that, exactly. Yeah. I understand your point about that. The second thing I would say to you, how this could affect Mike Madison TOI. How effective he's going to be now, Mike Madison. I think he's going to be on second unit. You know what I mean? You cannot put Jeff Petrie on the bench when you have a power play. You have to put Petrie on the ice. So someone's going to get, is going to penalize. Is it goalie? Is it Jekai? Is it any other Justin Barron example? So this is where I believe I agree with you. I reach you, Marco, when you talk about earlier about Hoffman. But I feel like first year, you have to clean up you have to cook, right? And I think that's really important, I think, about that. And I think that's the reason I believe I feel like he was not ready to do that, honestly, for me last season for Mike Hoffman. But I agree with you when you just said about this, about this. Enortp, anything you want to add after what we just said about this?
Yeah, I mean, there's always the possibility that they might keep him in hopes that, again, he has a half-decent year. And at that point, a lot of teams will jump at the trade deadline time to pick up a right-handed defenseman with the pedigree of Petrie. And they won't have to spend as much. Right now, he's just over $4 million. And so Montreal will have retained by his TOI already in the time that he spends on the team, half of that or more of that contract. So you're going to get him cheap at trade deadline time. But I agree, it's not best for the development of the team and the youth on that defense.
Yeah, absolutely about this one for sure. Try to get that one with Enortp for you. I don't know if I can get it. Hold on, guys. I'll try to get this one from Enortp.
Breaking news.
We just got the comment for Jeff Petrie. He wants to be on the show tonight, so he just called me, say, "Can I talk to you guys?" I feel alone right now. So yeah, sure, no problem. So here's his first comments about the trade, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, son of a bitch. Well, son of a bitch.
So Jeff is a bit upset about that one over there.
Coach, that's the first time that you've had swearing on your show, other than me, I guess. But kudos. Is that your voice? Is that your voice, or is that the AI that did that?
AI.
Aw. That's awesome.
Anyhow, we have a few people knock the door, guys. Gary is back in the house. We have GP is in the house. Jake is show up. We have Mark D. A lot of great comments for Mark D. I like these comments and Elijah about the guys. He's very active in the chat. Sebastian number 4. What about Hi is in the house? Welcome back. A long time we don't see you, my friend. A lot of people pop up this week, guys, in the chat. William McLean, we've said earlier. We have a lot of great conversation on the channel. Nicholas back in the house. Welcome back, Nicholas. And don't forget, guys, to click on the likes. Any conversation, any question you have, guys, click on the queue about this. Maurice Robillard, for exactly from a little bit south of me. He's right now south of me. He's in Thailand. Maurice, welcome back, my friend. Hopefully you're doing well. Everything looking good. Beautiful, guys, weather here in Thailand for my side. In Pattaya. Excuse me. And Pattaya, really great, 33 Celsius the last 2 days, sunshine, and we take advantage of everything right now here. Joel Deg is in the house, guys. Don't forget to click on the like, that'd be awesome. And then that's what we got, guys, here in the chat. A lot of great comment about Jeff Petrie. The next subject we're supposed to do, guys, we're going to get there at the first place, by the way. This is what I'm not very good on to keep track about the conversation, but we'll see. The 3 goalies trade. Who do you trade about that? Before we go there, guys, I want to bring you to the pool because this is one of my questions. If you don't mind, that'd be great, guys, about that one there. Every day, guys, we do a pool on my YouTube channel. Yesterday, 430 votes so far. Well, it was a couple hours before. The day before, guys, 690 people vote on that one. Was the record of the poll. So, but the question was, when do you think the Montreal Canadiens are going to trade Jeff Petrie? Enortp?
I'm just looking at that. I'm surprised there's 7% that are saying that he stays the full 2 years. Yeah, I went in the next couple of weeks, so I'm in the first category there before the end of August. I like you said earlier, Coach, the fact that Hughes or Gordon haven't made any sort of reaching out to the players or the agents leads me to believe that something is in the works. And there's a lot of discussion today, on social media that, there's conversations going on with Dallas, as we discussed earlier. But equally, there was conversation with Anaheim, which I found surprising. I don't see that happening, but you never know. You never know what they're
Marko?
cooking. Could be a 3-way trade.
So it's just a pure guess, but I'll say before training camp here, because a lot of GMs they're just coming back from vacation. They're still on the golf course, so they're not in a rush. So I don't know if it'll happen before the end of August, but yeah, hopefully it will happen before training camp.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think, sometimes you have some kind of injury or the roster. You look about Montreal last season. We go to training camp, right? And then, boom, we lost Mike Madison and we lost Joel Edmondson back-to-back. That changed a little bit the roster, and they pick up Kovacevic, remember? So it could happen to anything. We don't wish anybody to be hurt, but it could happen that way over there for sure. About this, my next thing today, guys, is exactly what we're going to talk about. That's the reason I come here. Who do you think the Montreal would do with the three goalies? Trade Jake Allen, trade Casey DeSmith, trade Samuel Montembeault, send one of them to Laval Rocket. So this is the pool of the day, guys. Don't forget to click on the like. Click on the pool, and you're going to get there under the YouTube channel. A lot of great comments about and that chat right now, but we're going to be back here. So what do you think about this one? If you have one of you, let's start with Enortp.
Well, before hearing a lot of the conversation centered around DeSmith, and also the fact, as we said earlier, that there hasn't been any sort of official welcoming to Montreal, I would have said Allen, and it's based on what Marko had said, on a couple of different occasions, that he couldn't understand why they had signed Allen for the length of time that they did. And so that made sense that maybe Allen would have been a more tradable piece, and they would have gone that direction. But I'm going to lean towards DeSmith being the one that's going to be traded, and again for the same reason as Petrie, as Petrie.
Yeah, it's a hard one, Coach. Like, you have to put Primo in the mix here too. Like, he's part of this ménage. It's not even a ménage à trois; it's like a ménage à quatre. If you include Primo, the whole goaltending thing is just very confusing, right? Like, the thing is you can't really completely lock in on Montembeault yet, because his contract is over at the end of the year, right? So there's a lot of discussion about his agent wanting to pay him like a number one. Montreal might not be willing to do that yet before, you don't want to go till the end of, like, he's going to be an RFA, right, at the end of this year. So he's not like no, he's an UFA at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, he's a UFA. Yeah, UFA.
Yeah. So, like, that's kind of risky for Montreal, right? Like, if you're like, yeah, okay, we're going to, really, Montembeault we think is our guy, but then they're not able to really kind of work something out either, right? So I don't know. Like, I think I'll probably lean towards DeSmith for exactly the reasons we talked about. Like, just weird that they wouldn't have had any kind of welcome for him at all. There's also some people brought up some of the personal issues that he had in the past. Like, he had some type of assault charge or something. And we know kind of how well those things go over in Montreal. So some people are not really happy about the fact that they acquired him. It seems like it was a long time ago. But anyways, so I would probably say DeSmith would probably be the guy that they would move. I haven't really done a deep dive, like, in terms of, there's at least 5 teams that really could use another NHL goaltender that I can think of off the top of my head. So, there should be a market.
I think a team like Tampa Bay Lightning could add him.
Yeah, Winnipeg.
That would make sense.
Winnipeg is definitely getting, like, whatever they do with Hellebuck, they're going to
it's funny you talk about Winnipeg. I have a conversation in the chat right now where I believe they want to keep Hellebuck until trade deadline.
It's possible. Like,
they may, because teams are strapped.
That's a big contract to take, right? And Cheveldayoff is very, very patient, almost too patient, some would say. Like, you could say that probably Winnipeg missed their
But
best
again,
window.
he did very well when he got Jacob Trouba in return. He did very well in Dubois trade. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't give what you're looking for, is wait. So I think he would pay off more if you get Hellebuck. Wait, like, I don't know. I'll just give you an example. Like, we know we talk about Pittsburgh, but we can talk about, I don't know. Let's talk about Tampa Bay example. I don't see that way, but a team I'm thinking to make the playoff, or they have a good team and they have a good chance to go top 10 in NHL team, right? And during the season, I don't know, December, they lost the number 1 goaltender for the rest of the season. But that team could be said, maybe we can go to get Hellebuck, and that way, so they can get a little bit better what they expect right now for a team could trade for Hellebuck at this moment. So I think that's why I expect him to get traded. I think if I was
it's very
the
possible.
GM of the Jets, and return, I need absolutely players with a goaltender
Sure.
number one potential, like Swayman
There's-
or Schmidt for the New Jersey or Tastal for the Anaheim. I don't know. I just give you an example about the goaltender. They cannot just get like a Casey DeSmith or a player like him, a goaltender number 2, to pick up Alibak spot for the upcoming.
No.
I don't know how Boston
Not
can do that, guys. I don't know how they can do that, but
yeah. Well, they're going to have to move Swayman probably, right? Like, so it's likely that they'll probably
it's
move
looking like.
Allmark. Like, it seems like they really like Swayman.
But imagine
he's
this.
kind of good.
I'm going to scaring everybody right now. Why not? It's a barbecue show in a way. We just right now feet. I'm full right now. Luciano cooks so good. I don't know if you missing, guys, the hamburger he just did. At the time you talk about Petri, I would turn around me. I go behind talking with Luciano. He got some feed. Anyhow, you straight between the Boston Bruins and the Winnipeg Jet. The Jet send Alibak and Max Sheffley. And return, Boston sent Jeremy Swayman, Jake DeBrusk, a first-round pick, and Liesel, and you can add someone else. Frederic, example. All right? And I can go a little bit more. Then after that, Boston trade Linus Ullmark somewhere in NHL. Like that, Boston Bruins guys with Alibak and Sheffley. They make the playoff or not?
I don't know. Like,
Well, first of all, Boston doesn't have a first to give. That's the problem. If
What?
you look at 2024, Boston doesn't have a first to give. So that would be tough to do. It would have to be 25 or 26. maybe.
Yeah. But 25 in Enortp and Misa and McKenna, everything like that. I think that will be.
Yeah, got it.
You know what I mean? I understand your point of view, but I'm just.
I'm not sure why is Boston interested in Hellebuck? Like, so you have two. Wouldn't that be weird? It'd
Number
almost be
ones.
like the Vancouver Canucks when they had who did they have? They had like Luongo, and who was the other guy? Schneider.
Demko?
They had two. No.
Yeah.
So remember Vancouver? They had Schneider and Luongo.
Schneider
like
and
this
Luan
big
go.
debate.
So they sent Schneider for the 9th overall pick to New Jersey Devils. In return, they got Bo Ovrat.
Yeah, but the reason
Yeah,
I
I
bring
did
it
it
up,
again.
is-
have to look at.
I remember that one.
But
the
the other
reason
thing
I
you have
bring
to
it up-
remember here is who won the Vezina. It's not going to rest well with Allmark if Hellebuck comes over and takes over the number 1 position.
But wouldn't it be weird, guys? Like, again, the reason I bring up the Devils or the Vancouver is like, so they have Schneider and Luongo. They're battling it out for who's going to be number 1. And then a year later, both of them are gone. That was just so weird. I just don't see Boston. They have 2 potentially number 1 goalies, and they move both of them to get Hellebuck, who's older than Swayman. Like, I get that there's interest there for Scheifele, for sure, because they need to. Boston's not interested in a long
centerman.
rebuild. So, yeah, so they need a centerman. So it makes sense that they would do something there. But I'm not sure Hellebuck would be a fit there. But coach, like these goalie carousels, like there's so many factors. It's so hard to predict who's going to go where. But to me, if there's anybody that, I think the Habs really think highly of Jake Allen. Obviously, if they extended him, even though I thought it was foolish, they did it. And so I think for me, it would be just Smith that would probably be the guy.
Right, again, I just, but my point behind that, guys, is like, it don't take a lot to turn a franchise down to go back up very quickly if you do the right move to satisfy your a team. Like, the worst thing for the team, and Montreal has been there for many years, and Winnipeg are another team, and then Nashville is another team. I'm just thinking quickly. It's when you're between 15 or 16, 17, and 20 second, and descending year after year. You don't have enough to go down to be a better team. You don't have enough to go worse. And every year you select a player like 19 overall pick, 18 overall pick, 17 overall pick. It's hard. You have to be lucky. We got lucky, guys, to get Caden Cooley. Like a lot of fans, Montreal Canadiens, remember that trade that year? It was a Zoom call, right? You have
Lapierre was
Bergeron have to stand up and the
everything.
Zoom to pick up his players, but everybody want Lapierre. If you remember that one, and Hendrix Lapierre was the one everybody said Montreal. Oh, Lapierre. Imagine Hendrix Lapierre over Caden Cooley now. Same thing happened with Louis Leblanc many years ago, and I can go all the way, but still, I feel like a team can turn around if they add a Max Sheffley. Or they can get Connor Hellebuck, and that will changing for the next couple of years their situation. The problem with Hellebuck, he requests a $8-9 million salary cap. That's what that's the reason why now he's not nowhere to find with other team about that. A lot of people can't talk about the chat, guys. About that. Go ahead.
They're better off giving up, trying to trade Marchand at this point and getting a boatload back.
I think we had.
I like that.
I think we had this debate a couple of weeks ago at Enortp. I don't think Coach agreed with us, but Coach, the difference is, the teams that you're mentioning that had, so rather than rebuilds, they had retools, I guess you could call it. They were retooled. And so think of a team like Los Angeles or Boston when they traded Lucic and they did kind of like a retool. In order to do that, you still need a core set of players that are young enough to make it all the way through. Boston doesn't really have that.
Or you have a players, like you already have players like Kopitar and the team. Like they have Crosby. Like you have already, Crosby. Like Boston have McEnvoy and Pasternak. That would be terrible for them to rebuild things completely like Detroit, Montreal, New Jersey did a couple of years ago. They have the core there. They have a solid star in NHL. When you don't have anything, when you don't have nobody, like Chicago have nobody right now, like Anaheim did. Now you can go that direction. But you have a team like that, you have some core already. So you just try to retool very quickly to get player by UFA or a trade, make an impact manager for your team. I thought that's my best answer I can give it to you.
No, I agree. Like, so you can't say McAvoy and Pasternak are cornerstone pieces, but there's only two of them, right? Marchand's really old. So to me, in order to be a team that's going to retool, you need more than two key pieces to really retool.
And I will tell you another thing in hockey. You have you have like not a rule, but you have like something you do, but you should not do, and you should do, but you don't do for the respect, the loyalty, the integrity between the organization and between the players. If Brett Marchand want to leave, that's okay. But like the Crosby, Ovechkin, a Kopitar, some player you don't trade just because for what they gave back to the team. Now it's another conversation. Like Reebok left Boston because he wanted to try to win the Stanley Cup. That could happen, but Marchand did it. I don't know if he wants to do it again. Those kind of, it's not like a rules, but it's kind of agreement, whatever you want to call it, between the players and the organization. No. I feel like
if you want loyalty, coach, get a dog.
Get a dog, yeah. Once upon a time, I would have agreed with you, Coach. Today, it's just a business, and if you become too loyal and you marry yourself to a particular player or two, you're not going to go very far. You're going to be stuck
exception of the rules in our tap. I always say you have exception of the rules.
Yeah,
and I feel like
should Montreal ever have traded Guy Lafleur? Never in a million years.
But again, the management was not the same way, right? The management, Jacques Lemaire and the rest, Ronald Corey, everything like that, it's colored with the management. Yeah. But if you think about Cam Neely and Don Sweeney, and I don't say they're not going to trade. They're not going to trade him. I think he's going to be verbally an agreement between the players and the management, and not only the management said we're going to trade Brett Marchand. Does it make sense? That's my point behind my subject about that.
Coach, it's very funny that you bring that up because isn't today the anniversary of Wayne Gretzky getting traded?
Yeah, but again, it's the time. It was a Bickington, and then it was Bruce McNall about that one over there. Randy talked about the loyalty cost of Goudreau and Kachuk about that one over there. So, another conversation, guys. We hit the 10 o'clock, and we didn't go where we're supposed to go. We try to get there. We're going to get there now. We're going to make this really differently. The subject of tonight, guys, was about your favorite Montreal Canadian all time, and it's not like a contest. It's not about. It's just try to sharing. Some are older, some are younger, and some they are really younger to compare to Mr. Enortp. Enortp was born 1916, and but otherwise, we're going to see Enortp. We'll see, of course, Aurel Joliette when he scored for the Montreal Canadiens. He was in the hand of his mother, but still. You remember when the dad called him and told him about Aurel Joliette. But anyhow, so the favorite players we got, Mr. So what we do, guys, we're going to go that direction at the beginning. We're going to go by position. And of course, guys, in the chat, you maybe like Scott Gomez or Brent Giunta or whatever they are, right? We're not here to set you wrong and what the heck are you talking about? I respect your point, and you don't have to have only one specific favorite all-time players. But we try to minimize the lower we can get here tonight. I'm going to go by position. We have 3 positions, honestly. Goalie, forward, and defenseman. That's it, that's all. I'm not going to center, winger. Patrick Roy, my 4 goaltender. If you have any other goaltender you want to add there, guys, you can tell me, and we can go for that. But I would be curious if you have one goaltender you would like to get for the Montreal Canadiens in our top, which goaltender you would like to do?
Well, I have Jacques Plante on top of that list. And again, he was with the organization for over 20 years, and if you look at his numbers, they're pretty spectacular. Was definitely one of those players that changed the position quite a bit. I mean, in my era, it was more Dryden, Patrick Roy, of course, that I got to actually witness. I didn't see Plante, but if you're going to bring all time into all of this, I'd have to put Plante as number 1.
So
which one? Number 1?
Jacques Plante.
Jacques Plante. All right. Right now in the chat, we have 6 Patrick Roy. So Marco?
Of course.
Well, I'm going to agree with the chat for sure. I'm a Patrick Roy guy. For me, Jacques Plante is automatically disqualified because he also did play for the Leafs. So I know he has a very rich history with Montreal, but he did play for the Leafs. Ken Dryden, for me, I'm not going to say he's overrated, but I don't know if it's just me watching those 70s games, but man, the goalies were so weird to look at, like the kick saves and everything. And Ken Dryden didn't perform very well internationally, right? Like he didn't play super well for Team Canada. Patrick Roy for me is, in my opinion, right there with Dominic Hasek as one of the best money goaltenders of all time. So for me, Patrick.
And of course, you're missing George Vezina in all of this equation as well. If you really want to go back in time, and only play for Montreal, so there goes.
No Pat Jablonski. No Pat Jablonski, or no. What about no Pat Jablonski? Okay.
No Rasico, no.
Wow. I like a lot of people talk about Roy, and most of the people in the chat. Some people, the youngest one looking about Carey Price, of course. And they have some, you have some debate. Honestly, Carey Price have an amazing, great career. The team he was in front of him was not exactly what Ken Dryden has in front of him. And then Patrick Roy for sure. But to have a rookie player like Patrick Roy show up and they won the cup, and then he did it again in '93, and then he continued to do it with the Colorado Avalanche. For me, as a goalie, it's not my favorite player all time, but as a goalie on those 4, I have to go with Patrick Roy. Ken Dryden, great career in CA with Colgate. but with Clarkson Colgate, by the way. And Carey Price, unfortunately, he didn't have a great team. And the Jacques Plan, he played for the Leaf, Boston Bruins, St. Louis Blues. Too many teams. I hate that. So I will go, guys.
like
we're going to get, we all agree. We're going to go with Patrick about this one over there, just in case. Let's go defenseman. You can talk about Bill Neerup if you want to. You can talk about Terry Harper if you want to. You can talk about front players like Piquet Subban and Chris Chelios, Eric Desjardins, of course. But I go with a little bit the history of the Montreal Canadiens, honestly. So I would like to hear from you what it would be. I think we start with Enortp. Now we're going to go with Marko.
Okay, so if I'm going to use the same logic, so Chris Chelios didn't play for the Leafs; he played for Chicago and for Detroit. So they're teams that I hate less. And sorry, Minnesota, Anaheim.
No, I didn't say Minnesota. I said quite a few other teams.
Yeah. So for me, for sure, Robinson would be the number one choice for me. Like to me, he was one of my favorite players growing up, for sure. Just the presence that he had, just an overall, like just a very complete defenseman, like still had really good smarts offensively, but just really big, really fast, really a presence on the ice. He's just a magical guy for me, like just the way that he was on the ice. So for me, I don't know if I have Laperrière on this list, to be honest. Like, I know he had a really strong career, but I would probably go Robinson and Savard, but Doug Harvey is right there too. Doug Harvey is really, really he was arguably the best defenseman ever before Bobby Orr, then Bobby Orr kind of blew him out of the water. But for a long time, a lot of old timers said that Doug Harvey was the best defenseman that they ever saw play before Doug Harvey or before Bobby Orr. But I haven't seen him play that much, so I'll go Robinson and Savard.
Enortp, which one?
Well, I love the big three, Robinson, Lapointe, and Savard, because again, I grew up watching them. I would definitely put Robinson as the number one pick there. But I agree that Harvey should have consideration as well. Like, he's not a guy that scored much, but I mean, he was with Montreal, I believe, I want to say about 14, 15 years. And he was the mainstay on that blue line that became very offensive minded as well. So I would have Harvey and Robinson there.
All right. Yeah, all the great point about that one there. Harvey was dominate the NHL when he was a defenseman, a bit like you just said, Bobby, or any defenseman. And Larry Robinson. About that, we're going to keep Larry Robinson for the people remember a little bit more at Doug Harvey. Sorry, Doug. Maybe next time. We'll see about that one.
We only get one defenseman? Only get one defenseman?
Sorry, again?
Two defensemen, no?
Yeah, but we're going to keep one for right now. About that one.
He wants to bring in a surprise defenseman, okay.
I don't
You're going to put Jack Guy as a...
Rocket, Guy Lafleur, Jean Béliveau, Yvan Cournoyer, Sakoko Ivo. Forward.
Who?
I think you're first this time.
Me? Well, the first one I'm going to put on that list is Maurice Richard. First player to score 50 goals in a season, 500 in his career, and the first one to do that as well. And really, he's the all-time face of the franchise, especially when you see those fiery red eyes and the intensity that he had. And from a lot of the video that I saw, and just when you think of, when Montreal had that ceremony, I believe it was the closing of the old Forum, and they moved to the Bell Center. Everybody just gave him the biggest standing ovation. and it lasted the longest, and that doesn't happen for no reason. Lafleur, I would put right behind there as well for what he did. But if we're gonna say, he's played for other teams, so he should be disqualified. Uh, I mean, that's got to be a consideration because guess who he played for? He played for the Quebec Nordiques. That's probably our biggest nemesis of all time. So if we're gonna bring that into the equation, I would take him off and put in Beliveau because at least he spent his entire career with Montreal. He's when we think of gentlemanly manner and the elegance that he brought to the game, like he was an ambassador not just for Montreal but for the entire league, and will always be known for that as well.
So, Coach, just to remind me, is this our favorite Habs players or the all-star, like who we think are
No,
the
it's
best?
all your favorite alpha. What I'm doing right now, I keep a goalie, a forward, and a defenseman, and after that, we're going to see if you change your mind, what it would be your favorite player after that.
Okay. So we're only keeping one forward
Yeah.
on this list? All right. Well, just because I met Jean Beliveau, I'll say Jean Beliveau, because he was a real gentleman and was actually pretty nice to me when I met him. So I'll say Jean Beliveau. And, I know we're not supposed to be looking at position, but you always build through center, right? So I'll go Jean Beliveau.
Great comment about that. A lot of great comments in the chat. Everything like that. Keep consistent. Don't forget, get to click on the like. There'll be awesome. Great comments about everything like that. Like you said, Guy Lafleur played for the Rangers. I'm doing a video about him the next couple of weeks. I'm going to do a 20 video about the player making an impact for Montreal. Anyhow, Maurice Richard was the icon of the French Canadian people for many years, right? After he get retired at 38 years old, everything like that, it was really Henri Richard. I think he was underrated players because everybody was talking about Maurice Richard, but Henri Richard did a lot of great things for the Montreal Canadiens. Overall, won the Stanley Cup 11 times, honestly. And then for me, Guy Lafleur always been my favorite player for the Montreal Canadiens. But if you think about the one, it really represent the Montreal Canadiens logo, off ice, on ice, during his career and after his career, worked for the management for many, many, many years, is Jean Beliveau. So on that equation, I would go to Jean Beliveau. So he's become that player, your favorite player. So maybe it's not there. Maybe it's not on this list over there. Your favorite hockey player all time, what it will be for you in Enortp?
Well, I think you know the answer to that one, Coach. I've vocalized it many, many times. Wasn't on the list, but I personally would have given it to Bob Gainey. I absolutely loved his style of play. When you have, yes, he didn't have the stats that many of the other famous Habs have accumulated over the years, but he was the epitome of what a captain should be. Went out there and led by example all the time. Had an award, a trophy named not named after him, but because of his style of play. And when the Russian coach Tikhonov comes out and says the best player on this planet, it holds a lot of weight for me. But more importantly, I just thought he was a classy player. You didn't want him checking you at all because this guy would put you through the boards all the time. He wasn't the most gifted of scorers, granted, but because of his speed, he was able to play many different positions. And I think is the kind of guy that you want on the team because he's going to go out there and he's going to go through a wall for you and he's going to take the whole team with him.
Guys, I'm going to go way off the board, way off the board on this one. So, so in my lifetime, anyways, the most probably the most electric player that I ever saw play, the one that, took me out of my seat or whatever, and really the only player to ever score 50 goals in my lifetime is Stéphane Richer. Now, I know he didn't play very long. He's a very enigmatic player. But man, like if you look at the skill, like the package that he had as a player, like the size, the strength, the speed, the shot, I loved Stéphane Richer. Like he had 2 back-to-back 50-goal seasons in the late 80s, I believe. So for me, in my lifetime, anyways, like the player that you could talk about PK. PK was a very exciting player for during my lifetime. But for me, Stéphane Richer, even though he only played for Montreal, I think like 5 or 6 seasons, he was technically part of that 86 Cup. I believe he was there for the 89 final, but then he got traded away for Kirk Muller, which ended up being a very important piece for the 93 Cup, right? So for me, I would put Stéphane Richer as one of my favorite players just because I've never seen a Montreal Canadien score 50 goals, and he did it twice in a row. So I know it's probably not the most popular choice, but that's my own personal.
Oh, that's all right. That's something like that. And after, what would be your players?
Bob Gainey.
Bob Gainey. I have to go with Guy Lafleur for me. So Guy Lafleur was my players rating on that. So it was just an exercise between all the three to just sharing about the player. I have a lot of comments in the chat mentioned about different players. I love to hear that. Gross called about Henri Richard. John talked about Lafleur. Everything like that. So that something.
Mike Keane. Yeah, there's just a couple of people mentioning Mike Keane. Like, there's so many good players, right? So many kind of heart and soul players. Yeah, obviously that 93 team had a lot of special players that I have a really strong feeling for sure. But yeah, there's great suggestions in the chat. Kovalev too. That in terms of exciting players, like it's hard not to mention Kovalev in the same breath as PK and Stéphane Richer in terms of like Kovalev is probably our highest scoring forward in the last 30 years.
Yep.
So.
Sorry about that. I'm going to make some kind of you testing both of you and the people in the chat, guy. We're going to go back here and we're going to play a game. It's called a Tic-Tac-Toe game. And how we're going to go that one over there, guys, on this game. Hold on. There's this one here. It should be pop up next a few seconds. There we go. I will try it if I can move it here. And so what's going on with Marko? We're going to move Marko here. Right here. Here we go. Go back here. I'm going to move here. Lower.
Am I seeing?
And I don't know. Look like Enortp is twice. So we're going to delete him one time. We're going to put him there. It's a little bit last minute preparation, but we're going to see what that one over there. So what we go here, guys. My software gave me that access now. I don't have to go on the website. It's directly website. That's crazy. It looks like it works properly right now. So what happening, guys? We're going to go that direction. We have a couple of things. Let me move on this one lower, so give me a better chance on that one. So we have 9 Ks to find the players on that one. We have Arizona, Edmonton, and a 50 assist season. Detroit, Dallas, and Colorado. The winner between all of you, both of people, is the highest number percentage. So you can get an answer, but you have to try to get the highest number percentage of the equation. So let's start with Mr. Enortp.
Let's go with Dallas and 50 assists. I'll take Modano. Mike
Modano. I don't know why I cannot get it now. That's funny. I tried to click on it, but I cannot have the answer of that one. I cannot see why I can put the name. That's funny. I cannot testing, by the way. It's funny. I cannot get it. I can click on it, see? But I don't know if I can, I don't see my answer about that one there. That's sometimes when you do live, guys, that's happening about that one over there. We're going to go lower here. Can I get here? Can I see that? Can I get it? That's funny. I cannot get the next answer. So I apologize, guys. It's not going to work on that way over there. So it's live streaming sometimes, but you get that one over there. But your answer will be Mike Modano, about 50 assists. It could be a good answer. Mr. Marco, what it would be your answer about that one? Anyone?
So for Dallas Stars, 50 assists?
No, any other square.
Oh,
Any
okay.
other,
But it's all okay. Dallas Stars. Okay, so I'll say 50 assists for Detroit. I will say Larionov.
For Detroit, Larionov.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Colorado Avalanche, I'll go with Joe Sakic, by the way. So we're going to complete that line over there for easy. Monsieur Marco, Monsieur Enortp.
Which one did you do? Sorry. Which square did you do?
I put me
Colorado
Avalanche, Joe Sakic. So now you have to find a player play for Colorado, Edmonton, Dallas, the 6 other case.
Okay. Dallas. Let me think here. Well, Detroit. Can I take Detroit and 50 assists?
No, it's out.
Oh, it's out. Okay.
Yeah, all the assists are out now.
Okay. So let's go with Kirk Maltby. I believe he played for Detroit and he played for Edmonton.
You talking about who?
Maltby. Kirk Maltby. Maltby.
Okay. All right. Marco.
Okay, so I'm trying to understand this game here. So I'm looking for, so potentially a player that played for Colorado and Edmonton.
Yeah.
I'll say Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith.
Ryan Smith for Colorado and Edmonton.
Yeah.
Okay. Monsieur Enortp.
Let's go with let's go with Colorado and trying to think Colorado and Edmonton. I'm gonna take Tyson Barrie.
All right. Sounds good to me. I'm going to hold on here. I'm going to try to helping you guys. So leave me about 30 seconds. I think I have another solution for you guys. I think I got this. The time you're talking, I was trying to work on this. So that's what we got right now here. I don't know if I can do that. No, I cannot do that. But I think we can go that way over there. We got the case. Come back here. Let me check this one over there. That's better right there. So let's see back again here. Detroit and assistant Mr. Marco said Larionov, right?
Yeah.
See where you got it. There you go. 2%. Dallas Star. We got Mike Modano, right?
Yeah.
There we go. And then I got Joe Sakic. Sakic on that one. 36%. And now let me check Enortp. What you said again? Another plus?
I said Edmonton and Colorado, Tyson Barrie.
Colorado and Edmonton. Which one?
Tyson Barrie.
Tyson Barrie.
Perry?
Barrie.
Tyson
Barrie.
Hold on. my computer go away. So tell me again. I apologize because now the
Barrie.
because you both at the same time. And after that, tell me again. Spell it.
Okay, Barrie. Barrie. Tyson.
Tyson
There
Barry.
you
Oh,
go.
Tyson Barry. Yeah, it makes sense. All right. Apologize for that one. And Marco?
Yeah.
So I think I said Colorado and Edmonton.
Okay.
I said Ryan Smith.
Ryan Smith, right?
Yeah. Smith with a Y. It's a Y.
Yeah. No, wrong. We have one mistake right there.
No.
He played for Colorado,
And,
Ryan Smith. And
It looks like
Edmonton.
he's not there.
I'm not sure he did. I'm not sure. I guess not.
He did
If
play
it
for
didn't come
Colorado.
up. And then
But that
the
box-
other one I had,
But that
the other
box
one
that
I
you were in,
had, Coach, was
You're absolutely right about that, Marco. You're right. I think they make a mistake right there because he played with Edmonton and
but I think the box that you were typing it in was for Edmonton and Detroit.
yeah, that's the
Edmonton.
problem right there. So we'll have yeah, you're absolutely right about this. So we cannot pick up the same player. So let's see another one over there. Marco, Enortp, give me another one.
I had given you Edmonton, not Edmonton, sorry, Detroit, and who was it? It was Kurt Maltby.
For
Detroit and-
Arizona,
No, not Arizona.
we cannot do Edmonton anymore. Well, we can do that, but
yeah, it was Edmonton and Detroit. I had Kirk Maltby.
Kirk, is it like this one?
Kirk.
Malty? Malty?
K. MALT.
Yeah,
BY.
5% for that one there.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Where was
so
yours?
the-
You had another one, Coach.
Anyone for Arizona?
Arizona and Detroit. What about oh shit, what's the guy with the really long Anathasiu? Didn't he play
I have
for
one here,
both?
guys. Quimper.
Yeah. Didn't Anathasiu play for Arizona and Detroit?
Not sure. Dallas, Arizona. Is it Brett Hall play with Arizona?
Can
No.
you?
He played for Phoenix. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he did. Brett Hall, yeah, you're right. Dallas and
Yeah,
Phoenix.
I think so. Yeah.
We'll see if we get it. Yep. And we have one of the two right there. Dallas Star, Edmonton, or Arizona, Detroit.
I'm pretty sure that Anathasiu played for Arizona and Detroit. Who else did? Arizona and Detroit.
I don't think Arizona. No, Marco, no. Klima, Winger, others, and the Wings. Klima.
Peter Klima?
Peter Klima. Yeah.
Klima. We got that one over there. So we have to figure out Dallas Star, Edmonton, or Arizona.
What about who is that? Marchment? Was it Marchment that played for Dallas and Edmonton? No, Marchment. Remember the really fast guy that he scored an overtime goal against Dallas playing for Edmonton, but then I think he played for Dallas. I think his name was Marchand.
We have a couple of people there. Try to pick it up here in the chat. Jason Arnott.
He played for Arizona?
Maybe. Yeah.
He did?
Yeah, you're right. No, he played Edmonton and Dallas. That's a good one. Jason Arnott. Edmonton and Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Here we go, guys. We got 8 and 9 with 286 points on that one over there. Congratulations, everybody. We missed one about that one over there. That's complete there. I want to hear from you guys about the Toronto Saint Martin Jones. What do you think about that?
I think he's going to be on waivers October 15th. They've got Samsonov. I'm not sure. I don't understand the reasoning there. They have Wall and they've got Samsonov. Just good insurance, I guess. Like if they can sneak him down to the Marlies, I guess. Jason Wall. Is it Jason Wall? Justin Wall. So Justin Wall. Yeah. So Justin Wall kind of came in and helped out towards the end of the season and helped Toronto kind of, when Smith was injured and everything. So, or when Murray was injured, sorry. So, but he's not proven NHL goaltender, right? So it's just good insurance, I think, more than anything. You can never have too much depth. Samsonov does have a bit of a history with injuries as well. So it's just depth. Probably wouldn't have been my first choice as a depth goaltender. But he can get on a run. Like he's been a number one before. So I guess it's just insurance more than anything. I wouldn't read into it if I'm a Toronto fan more anything than it's just like an insurance policy. That's my take on it.
No, that's exactly it. He's just going to be their third string goalie insurance in case one of the other two gets injured. But I don't see them giving him away because or going on waivers because they got him pretty cheap at, I think.
But you'd have to go on waivers if they send him down to the Marlies.
Right. And somebody will pick him up on waivers. Well, maybe not. I
don't think so.
If anybody would pick him up, I don't think so either. But just in case they get an injury before the season starts, right? They have that insurance right there, and for what is it, $875 that they got him for? It's a very cheap insurance policy.
Yeah,
it seems like the players always get picked up on waivers, right? Like I think Arizona picked up like 4 players from them that one year. They have problems getting players through waivers, but maybe that was just a Kyle Dubas thing. Kyle Dubas was pretty good at collecting bottom 9 forwards, and sometimes they would get picked up by other teams, but we'll see.
What would be the next destination for Thomas Tatar?
Serviceable player, right? But it depends on kind of what his price is. Like certainly not the 20-25 goal scorer that he has the reputation or had the reputation to be. Like very much underperformed his contract in New Jersey.
Yeah, 20 goals last year.
He did have 20 goals. Really?
Yeah. 48 20 that season, guys.
Wow.
But it was a very offensive-minded team, though, right? But in all fairness, he does that regularly. There's no knock on the fact that he can put in 20 goals. The knock, if anything, has been a little bit defensively, and also when the games start to count, like as you're getting closer to the playoffs or in the playoffs, he tends to disappear. He doesn't like that physical contact.
In the last 6 years, 5 of them he has an average of 20 goals per game per season. That's what he did.
For many of them, for
2 years ago, his first year with Dallas, he struggled a little bit, right? He become a player third line. It's pretty good when you think about a player third line can score 20 goals. He get over 40 points. For me, this is a great asset. I don't understand why they don't want him. He's only 32 years old.
Yeah, I could see him going to, a bottom end team. Like I could see a fit there with Chicago, either with Chicago or maybe even outside chance with San Jose. But I think Chicago will be a good fit. You bring a little bit of experience, a little bit of scoring. With a lot
honestly,
of the
I'll give you two teams, about one team: Pittsburgh Penguins.
Nah, I don't.
They need the depth.
No money.
I can see
No
that
money.
for the right price.
But you get him one at that point. How much money he won't? What it would be his salary in Enortp?
But they're over cap right now, Pittsburgh.
He's going to Well, wait a minute. Like he's over cap, but they're over cap. But the key behind that, they have players. They're not going to be there anymore.
Well, Gunsell, that's it.
They're over cap, Mr. Enortp, by $79,000. All right. So if they take Tatar and they give him $750 or $1 million, they can remove right now one player they have already in the lineup, and they put Tatar there.
I think Tatar gets at least 2 or 2.5 though. To be honest, but just Enortp on your point of him not being very reliable defensively. Like obviously he had that really nice run playing with Dano and Gallagher, and they were one of the best. Yeah, they had one of the best they were one of the best 5-on-5 lines in hockey. And then last year he was playing with Hischier and with Bratt, I think. He was playing with Mercer and with Hischier. And that was also one of the best. Yeah, they were also one of the best 5-on-5 lines in hockey during the regular season, right? So he can play. Coach, I think you might be onto something. Like I think Pittsburgh could definitely use depth and use a guy like that on their third line, or even pop into your second line if you have injuries, right? So it's just a matter of can they make it fit. But yeah, like a team like that, he's a good depth forward that can be very serviceable. I'm a little surprised that he scored. I knew he had that really crappy year before that in New Jersey, but
that's why he got 15 goals.
Yeah, I remember. You're right. He did play with Hischier and with Mercer. Good bounce back year for him. I think he's really good. Like I've always liked Tatar. I think he's a really good guy. I think he's a bit underrated. So hopefully he has an opportunity to play with a good team, and if he is willing to take a little bit less money, then hopefully he'll find a good spot.
Well, I think that's the key right there, right? Is he willing to take a league minimum? I don't think he is. I think he's looking more in the neighborhood of maybe 1.5, 2.
Yeah. Why would you take?
I think a team like the Rangers could get him too.
What's going on with the Rangers? The Rangers have been very quiet over the summer. For a team that had a really disappointing. Like I think Chris Drury, we talked about this. Like if out of all the GMs, he had probably the worst trade deadline of all the GMs last year that were contending. Like I didn't understand many of his moves. I hated the Tarasenko move. I didn't understand why they're going out and get Patrick Kane and Tarasenko at the trade deadline. When Chris Drury, he came to the Rangers and Jeff Gordon basically got fired because of the whole Tom Wilson and Panarin thing, where the Rangers were being pushed around. And all of a sudden he starts trading all of his physical players. Like Julien Gauthier is gone. They made all these weird trades and so I don't like what Chris Drury did at the deadline, and he's been very quiet this summer. Very strange situation. Like the Rangers are right there, man. Like hopefully they don't squander. I really like the Rangers team, but it seems like they've been pretty quiet. What do you guys think about their summer?
I think that the fact that both Kane and Tarasenko now off the team, it had an effect on them. I think it disrupted their chemistry, what they had built from the previous year, and it really threw them for a loop. And I think they're sort of trying to recover from that personally. If they make any moves, it won't be immediately. I think they'll wait and see if they can recapture that same magic that they had before. And of course, hope that Shesterkin keeps them in a lot of the games, but they have to make sure that they don't overplay him. Because I think in the playoffs, that's what showed up as a little bit the fact that he was tired. And even though he played very well, he wasn't at his usual point from the previous year.
What did they do? Did they get any free agents, Coach? Rangers? Like I don't remember them being very active on
Blake Wheeler.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's definitely a nice move.
Which might not be bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good move, and
Yeah,
he's
that's
like on a
good.
really nice deal too. Right, like he
Jonathan
shows almost.
Quick
Yeah, I don't
and
think that
Eric
moves the needle.
Gustafsson.
Gustafson, yeah.
Yeah, the Wheeler move it's a good move. Like I think that's a good compliment. I think they probably would have had more playoff success if they would have gotten him instead of Patrick Kane or Tarasenko. To be honest, like I think he's a better fit with that lineup. But a little surprised they didn't
They have
do
to sign
something with Kakko.
Lafreniere.
Yeah, they haven't signed
Yeah,
Lafreniere yet.
that's key. Yeah. I mean, their second line looks very good now. When you put, I think they'll put Wheeler with maybe Panarin on the wing and Trocheck in the middle. So that looks good. Their first line, as we know, is fairly solid, anyways, with Kreider and Zibanejad. If they sign Lafreniere, then they still have their kid line intact. Although as years go by, they're not kids anymore. So, and their defense is good. I think their defense is very solid. Their goaltending is excellent. So, yeah, they're going to make noise. They're going to make noise. It's
The problem in our top, they miss top 6 player forward. They have 5 good players, and then if I keep Shedil, Kakko, Lafreniere at the third line, they miss one piece of puzzle. That's what I said. They can get Tatar, and they can bring him on the third line, and they can get Lafreniere, put him on the second line. I think that would be a benefit for them overall. The 4 line guys, they have Alex Belzil, Tyler Pitlick, and Nick Bonino. That's not looking good there.
No.
But where would you put Kakko?
Third line right now.
No, like Kakko and Lafreniere, like at some point they're going to need to elevate into.
But that's my point. Like if you know what I mean, like if you go Kakko, Lafreniere second line, now you have to put Wheeler on the third line where I fit there. But he missed another forward there. That's my point. Like they missed one. Whatever you put top 6 or top 9, they missed another. I believe a guy can score 15 goals in NHL. I think Thomas Tatar could be a very good asset there compared to Maxime Comtois or any other players they have right now. And the 4 line guys, they have Jimmy Vesey, Pitlick, Belzil, and Nick Bonino. It's not, you know what I mean? Well, anyhow, guys, at 9:45, I don't. Everybody waiting for the last events. We got the Frenchy Quiz. I think you guys are going to be in action for the last part of the show. People, don't forget the Frenchy Quiz will be live. No picture for Mr. Marko tonight, unfortunately. I did not get anything for you tonight on the Frenchy Quiz. But we'll see what we got here, guys. We're going to move on my keyboard. Oh, my God! And Frenchy Quiz, the leaderboard is Enortp 9 now. Take the lead at 9, Mr. Enortp. And he is right now 2 over Andy Kuivula and 3 over RJ. And Nico Luciano is at 4 with Nicolas de Gauby-Bonneau, all the leader right now. Luc Laforcine don't talk a lot, but Luc Laforcine is at 3 right now. So, very interesting to see that. Joseph Lahem was the winner with Enortp last night. And we'll see what happening. Yeah, exactly about that one over there. So, Marko, we'll see what you look like tonight. Marko does not play a lot, but he's pretty good overall. Here we go. I have to put the question on. I was looking for Marko. Marko won 2 times. There are 2 seasons with over 100 different goalies play in one season. What is the exact number for each season? Is it 103, 119, 107, 116, 103, 116, 116, 119, 107, 119? So, question is about they have only 2 seasons in NHL. They use 100 goalies and more. And it's happening in 2 years ago. It's happening last year and a couple of years ago. So, how many goaltender was during those 2 seasons? It was 103, 107, 116, and 119. So, honestly, if you can look about the number, we have a 4 different number. And can you figure out what it would be the right answer? Good luck, everybody.
I think this number is going to continue to go up and up.
Yes,
don't
I
think
agree
we're-
with you about that.
Yeah, for sure.
And we have right now Nicolas at A. We have Gary Cournoyer at B. And we have RJ knock the door at C. Thanks so much, RJ. Always about this. Yan go with D. H go with E. Roblox go with A. Luc Lafortune with D. Claude Richard with D. Thanks so much, guys, to give us your answer about this one. We'll see if we get more answer. More Luciano and IK. I don't know they are there. GSM with E. Roblox go with D. KLS go with B. Thanks so much about that one over there. And the time maybe some gave us answer. Randy, I did not get Randy yet about this. We start with Mr. Enortp. Is the winner of this.
Wow. I'm gonna go with C.
C.
Just
All
pure
right,
guess.
Marko.
Pure guess.
Yeah, this is a pure guess too. Like I was leaning towards B, but then
Yep.
I saw that Randy Workman also chose B, and I know he doesn't do super well in the quiz. Sorry, Randy. Yeah, I think I'll go with Randy on this one. Like it seems like the other ones are so lopsided. Like so yeah, I'll go with B. 107.
All right, Randy go with B. Luciano go with C. GB we go with D. Randy go with B. And then we have our friend Roy, guys, knock the door. Don't forget, guys, to click on the likes. Roy is really knowledgeable about hockey, guys. Leave me a lot of great comments about my videos. Roy, thanks to you. Let's go with D. Bill, welcome back in the house. Thanks so much. Bill is in the house. And do we have anybody else? Nicolas said A. Rob Emmerich said D. And that's pretty much what we got here, guys. Oh my God! Enortp, second option.
Second option was A.
Answer is E, 119 and 107.
wow.
And we had three good people get it. Mr. GSM, and Bill that pop up at the last second gave us an answer. Are the leader after one question. Congratulations. Question number one done. Question number two. Fact. What was the cost of the Vancouver Canucks design logo bought by the team? One, they designed an old logo with a stick in the middle of the logo. You know what I'm talking about? $100, $500, $1,000, $2,000, $2,500. This is a fact that is real about that. Good luck, everybody. Can Randy and Luc break their streak? Welcome back, Luc. Luc was not here last night. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like. If you don't do it, that'd be awesome. We'll see what's going to get an answer. I don't get any answer yet. Maybe my chat is behind. I don't know. Oh. Andy go with B. And then we have Nicolas with E. KLS with A. Thanks so much. We have D with Yan, GSS with C, Bill with C, Roblox with E, Claude Richard with E. Thanks so much. We'll wait for Randy and Luc. RJ with D, John with D. Welcome back, D. John with your Pittsburgh logo. Glad to have you. Marko, during the time the people gave us, Luc Lafortune go with B. Thanks so much, Luc. Marko.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this. I don't remember the number, but I believe that it's the same cost that Elon Musk paid for his new Twitter logo as well. But I think I'm gonna go. You know, even the highest price here, Coach, is still an amazing deal, right? So I'm gonna say $2,500. Still a pretty good deal. I'm gonna go with E.
With B?
E.
E. 2,500. All right. Mr. Enortp.
I think it's lower. I'm gonna go with let's go with $500.
Wow.
There we go. GP go with A. Randy Walkman go with B. Ladies and gentlemen, the answer that one is this second option or not? No, because the answer is B. Well done, Mr. Enortp. J.I. said is at 2-0. And then we got a winner here. KLS, AK, Luc Lafortune, Randy Walkman, and Enortp score a goal. And we still have a game for game question number 3.
Should have went with Randy.
Luc said the price is right. By Joe Borovich. Here we go, Mr. KLS. And the playoff, which goalie had the most penalty shot against? Martin Brodeur, Dominic Hasek, Chris Osgood, Smith, and Terry Rask.
Terry Rask. Is that
Tuukka Rask. Tuukka
Rask.
Tuukka Rask.
Yeah. Terry Rask is his cousin from Massachusetts.
Yep. We go with A. We have Bill. B. We have A. C'est Martin Brodeur. We have Nicolas B. Claude Richard E. JSS B. John C. Yann B. Luc Lafortune C. Thanks so much. Gary Cournoyer will go with A. We have Luciano B. Luc Lafortune C. Mr. Enortp. Andy D.
It's gotta be just.
You think like you kind of figure like it would be the goalies that played the most playoff games.
That played a lot. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But for me, it's between A and D. Brodeur and Smith probably played the most games.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Hasek.
Hasek.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. We have Mr. Enortp with B. Super Drew back in the house. Welcome back with that one over there. And then Mr. Marko.
See, Hasek is an interesting choice because he played for those Buffalo teams in the playoffs that weren't as good. Yeah. So, but I don't know. I'll go with the idea that it's the goalie that played the most playoff games. I'm not sure if Brodeur played more games than Billy Smith. Like Billy Smith played a lot of playoff games. So I'm going to go with Billy Smith.
All right. Billy Smith for Mr. Marko. Here we go. B. Dominic Hasek, Mr. Enortp tied the game because RJI is last winner. GSM, Bill, and Randy Walkman scored tonight twice with Enortp. All the winner, guys. We have 5 winners of the show tonight. 2 and 3. Congratulations. All the winner we just mentioned about that. Wow. Here we go. That was great.
Randy, you deserve it. You deserve it after that Marko comment.
Yeah. I reversed jinxed you there, Randy. So I'm expecting like a nice card in the mail or a bottle of wine for that little. I gave you. Yeah.
Maurice Robillard mentioned something. Tatar will never accept $1 million a year, not as a 20 scorer.
I agree. Like I'd say 2 to 2.5 million is the market for him. But you see a lot of like there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of good players that just don't have chairs at the end of the day. But hard to imagine that there's not a chair for a 20 goal scorer.
So, congratulations, everybody. That's concluded, guys. Another show of the Habs Barbecue Show. We'll be back Sunday night for another Habs Nation. Then we're going to be back next Wednesday. We continue to do the summertime, guys, all about the Habs Barbecue. And then we're going to have a new shows coming very soon. for the upcoming season. The Sunday night is going to become the Habs Brown. It's going to be a Habs Nation Sunday night now for the upcoming season. Like a lot of things to talk about the next couple of weeks. But before we leave, maybe you want maybe give us a little bit information about of you. Maybe what 7 days something happening, or you think it will be quiet overall for the Montreal Canadiens?
I think we're to expect a trade. I think it happens within the next week.
I hope so, Coach. Like we could use some more excitement for sure, but we'll see. Like kind of a quiet time of year, but you know, definitely. If not, then we'll make the most of it. We'll keep talking about Jeff Petrie, and we'll be monitoring his travel plans in Montreal, and we'll have some fun with it. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, will be interesting. Willie Snyder knocked the door, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like if you don't click on the likes before you leave the building. We want to thank all the moderators tonight. We see our friend Jose Duarte. Happy birthday. I don't know. I thought it was tomorrow, but it looked like so today. It was not matter. Maybe I have 2 days of happy birthday. And then we have, of course, Luciano was in the chat tonight. And of course, we want to thank both co-hosts, Marko Larabi and Enortp. Another great performance for both of them. And then, of course, everybody in the chat, you have a lot of great conversation, guys, in the chat. At the time you talk, I can see back and forth with many people. I don't want to mention a couple of people because I'm going to forget how many of them. So hopefully, you guys, you have an amazing, great rest of your night. And don't forget one more thing, because we want to remind you this, because he's maybe the legend. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. He has a greatness inside of him. We talk about Luc Lafortune. Maybe Randy. Absolutely. Who knows? But until the next time, guys, we want to remind you one more thing. Be well, be ill. Find a way not only dominate your day. Find a way to dominate the second half. Second half. We are the second half now of the year. What, Mr. Enortp?
I guess it's got to be 2023.
We're still there. Thanks so much, both of you. Have an amazing, great night. See you next week, Marko and Mr. Enortp.
Good night, Coach Marko.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
You showed in your own way we would stand and we would fall united. Come on, get a grip now. Just finish what you started. Don't like the feeling that I've been fooled, deceived, and so misguided. Oh, oh, oh. What do I know? What's going on now? Is this another breakdown? You and me, should I let go? I do really want to know what's going on now. Is this another breakdown? You and me, should I say so? We're just putting on a show. What's going on now? Is this another breakdown? You and me, should I let go? I do really want to know what's going on now. Is this another breakdown? You and me, should I say so? We're just putting on a show. Oh, 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 oh.
Booyah!